guys. I'm going to talk to you as I go up because I'm just about to go uphill and it seems a good place. I don't know whether you can see behind me. I'll try not to get the people. So having gone for miles with not having seen anybody at all, of course as soon as I want to talk to you, then we get people coming. It's typical, isn't it? So today I was actually going to talk to you about fear. And I know it sounds a bit strange when you're out in this glorious countryside. I wish you could be here because you can smell the ferns and the new growth and the trees and obviously hear the birds, which hopefully you can hear. Anyway, but yeah, we can talk about fear because it came up during conversation. I know I've messaged it, I've mentioned it in my blogs. I don't think you can talk about cancer without mentioning the fear that goes with it. The fear, obviously, I'm just going to turn around so you can see the trees. They are glorious, aren't they? So yeah, fear obviously is an everyday thing. I mean, this morning I was due to get up and come out of the run first thing, but woken during the night with my stomach deciding whether or not to turn itself inside out, and that continued for a few hours. So I didn't go out for a run first thing because I thought I was absolutely terrified if I came out my stomach would sort out that it was going to empty itself in the most inconvenient place possible. So look, I've got another family coming, so I am just going to stop and I will come back to you shortly. Okay, right back. Isn't that typical? Go for miles and don't see a single soul, and now all of a sudden people want to get into my filming. Anyway, yes, so yeah, I was terrified of coming out and I'm being inconvenienced, as I say. So I didn't, but yeah, fear. We all do that, you know. And fear can be good. I'm not going to stick my hand into a fire because I'm afraid of the pain and the damage that will ensue. So fear can be good. And when it was Roosevelt, wasn't it, who said there's nothing to fear except fear itself, somewhere along those lines. And he's got a point, but it's not the whole truth, as these things really are. So, yeah, fear and cancer. I have never known fear like it, has to be said. It strips everything, and it's depending on the person. Obviously, we're all individual, and we're going to have different triggers and different concerns, which we'll be afraid of. But there are quite a few which I think everybody does. Everybody fears. You know, it's not necessarily the fear of death. I wasn't afraid of, actually, the death bit. I was afraid of the method of dying, the loss of control, you know, putting yourself entirely in the hands of other people, the after effects of any treatment, or even the side effects as you're going through them. In my case, fear of ruining everybody's Christmas because it was that time of year. Do you know what? There's just so many triggers when you're undergoing or when you get that diagnosis. And I'm never going to say to somebody, don't be afraid, because I think it's a natural process. I think it would be unusual, abnormal not to be. Across the road. However, like so many of these things, she says, I'm not good with gates. There we go. Make sure that's closed. Yeah, like so many things, fear can't be allowed to get the better of you permanently. It's going to at times. And the way I look at it is you have to get to that point. Well, okay, let's go back a bit. So I was understandably terrified. I actually, some of you know, sought help via EFT therapy. Well, it's EFT, isn't it? Emotional freedom therapy, which helps you manage your emotions, obviously fear being one of them. Doesn't take them away, but it gets you to accept them, accept that they are a normal part of the human psyche. And if you can accept them, it's much easier to work with them, I think. Sorry, I don't want to fall. Isn't this glorious? Very different from where I was last time, but right, okay, they've changed. No, they haven't. I'm going this way. Never know where footpaths take you. Right, okay. Yeah, so EFT is a really good one for, say, getting you to accept your emotions. And once you've accepted them, it's much easier to work with them, to release the stranglehold they have on you. And for me, as I was about to say earlier, the turning point for me is always when I get to that point where the fear of not doing something is greater than the fear of actually doing it. So, to give you a couple of examples, this 100-miler. I talked about it a lot last year, and there were loads and loads of reasons I came up with why I shouldn't do it. Because I was scared. Scared of failing, scared of it being, just too much for me. Scared of the amount of time and effort you have to put into the training, which is a lot. Afraid of the pain, which will undoubtedly come. All this kind of thing. And then at some point I got to the time when I went, actually, do you know what? Let's turn this round. If I don't do it, how am I going to feel? And I realised that actually, yeah, all of those reasons are still valid, but if I don't do it, I'm forever going to kick myself that I didn't try. And so that fear of my judgment on myself almost was enough to make me say, right, go on, Sarah, this is time to do it. Another instance, oh look, let's hope there's something across the water here. Yes, I did remember this. So look, I don't know whether you can see. Here we go, going across the water. So yeah, I said one of the things about cancer is how much it takes away of yourself, or that's your fear, that you're not going to be you anymore. People will look at you, they won't see you, they'll see the cancer. And that is a huge fear. And in some cases it's, it is borne out. So, just going to walk past these people, hopefully not see them. So yes, what was I? So yeah, and when you go into hospital, for me certainly, it kind of all hit me at once, because you go in and it doesn't matter how nice and how friendly everybody is. At the end of the day, you're there to be treated for cancer. They were lovely, but you're weighed and measured in public, you're drawn on, you have lots of blood taken, you're told where to go, told where to sleep. Not that I was very obedient on that front, of course, and a whole heap of other things. And so by the time I got to the anaesthetic room the first time, I had held myself together till that point. And then when they weren't quite ready for me and I was sent off to wait elsewhere, I think the fear totally overtook. And I was in bits, as a lot of you know. A lot of you have heard this story. And I was sitting in, oh, it's a long hill. I was sitting sobbing into my hand when my consultant came in behind me, said a few words to the nurse, said a few words to me, and I was very much then in the fear that, or deep in that fear that I didn't want to continue. I didn't want to face the possible repercussions, because fear has this way of making you forget the possible good outcomes, and all I could think of was the negatives. And that was the moment my consultant touched me very gently on the shoulder and said, "It's Mr. Burr, it's Brian." And those simple 2 words, "it's Brian," it changed something fundamentally for me. Of course it didn't make me long to get into that operating theatre, but it made me part of a team. And at that point, in becoming part of a team, the greatest fear was not what might happen to me. It was, I can't let the team down. I might be solitary in many ways. So I'm just going to stop again. Look at this. Guys, I don't know whether you can see. Oh, no, you can't. There we go. It is glorious up here. Anyway, a bit windy, but there we go. Anyway, yeah, so then it becomes, I can't let the team down. So that was the fear I went with. And yeah, I say, did I enjoy getting onto that table? Absolutely not. But was it better than letting everybody down? Absolutely, definitely. And of course, it was the best thing for me ultimately. And I think that's what we need to remember, is fear is natural and we have to accept that. But we can work with it and overcome it. And as so many people say, if you can overcome the fear, that's where you grow, that's where you change, that's where you make a difference. So, oh, excuse me, flies. Delightful, isn't it? So yes. Sorry, I'm chopping and changing here a bit, but as I said at the very beginning, I'm never going to tell somebody not to be afraid of cancer. One of the reasons I do these blogs and this little video chat is hopefully, if somebody else is diagnosed with the same as I had and they are scared of the consequences, they now have an example where things, they're not the same and it is hard, but there is an incredible life after it. I didn't know anybody when I was diagnosed. Never really knew it was a thing. So I guess, as I say, part of my reason for doing this is to try and reduce the fear for people going through the same thing. But you're never not going to be scared. The thing is, as I said, finding a way that works for you, that makes you accept it, that lets you accept it, that lets you work with it to overcome it and to get through whatever it is that needs to be got through. And yes, I think at this point up here, as I said last time, I'm very glad I didn't let fear stop me. And I do have a lot to thank my consultant for. How he knew how to do that, I have no idea. But yeah, that's one special gift. So may I wish that gift on everybody today, and enjoy your Sundays.